9 months ago, I made a video on Diane reacting to 14,000 hate comments on her video on her daughter's dumb politics and pushy lifestyle, forcing Diane to become an estranged mother. And 3 weeks ago, I made a reaction video to Boze vs. the World covering the exact same video. And 9 months ago, I covered Diane's original hateful, I had to start buying myself a birthday present on her birthday video about her daughter. And today, we are once again doing a reaction to Boze covering that exact same video. So I'm going to say the same thing she does when she watches other people's videos. If you want to watch the original video without any of my annoying commentary, I will gladly link it in the description below. For everyone else, welcome back to Diane Week. She falsely copyright struck my video. It's back up, and so we're doubling down.
Yo, Diane, dude.
Thank you, Matt. Also, happy Pride to those who celebrate. Happy Pride to those who don't. Diane.
Estranged parents are so annoying.
I really thought I could get through this without crying.
Oh, these troubling words surrounding me.
Who wakes up and needs to be worshipped today by the other estranged parents?
The who wakes up and needs to be worshipped today by other estranged parents is so true. It happens every time they all start a group chat. It's just one person at the top who wants everyone else to listen to their story like they don't all have almost the exact same story. I abused my children and they left me. Gosh darn. Oh, you did the same thing? Okay, well, I paid to be in here, so you should listen to me. Oh, you also did? Huh. Wild.
If you have like a family member that self-victimizes themselves and never takes accountability for anything, you will lose your mind reading estranged parent like forums. I went into them one day curiously, and I don't even think I could get through 2 posts.
No, it's all terrible people with the exact same thing to say, like they're all special. Chill, okay? I'm sure there are plenty of things about you that are unique. You having been a terrible parent is probably not one of them.
I couldn't do it. I absolutely couldn't do it. So we're gonna watch a video. Reminder, estranged parents, not to be confused with parents that, you know, maybe they're not in contact with their kids anymore, and there's a multitude of like conscious family issues. It could be like drug use. It could be, you know, something really bad happened and people haven't worked through it yet. But these people are different. They are truly a special breed.
Yeah, like these are not parents who themselves have been like financially ruined or in some way taken advantage of by their children. These are parents who are bad parents and then have to face the consequence of their actions, which is being alone and estranged.
Oh God, I'm so scared. This video is a produced video from an estranged parent. And her description says, "You are not alone. It's devastating to be a parent estranged from your adult child whom you raised with love in good faith. This is my story."
Just immediately, right off the bat, lying. Just who you've raised with so much love and good faith that every video from now until I maybe one day stop will show the exact opposite of that.
I put money down that this video is in some way hurting the child.
I really thought I could.
Oh my god, I forgot how this video started. Oh. Damn, dude. Like, imagine seeing this. Kind of sucks. Old lady crying. What's wrong? But then you get to know her and you're like, oh, old lady crying. Why are you making this about yourself?
I could get through this without crying.
No, you didn't.
27% of American adults have cut contact with a family member, lasting an average 4.5 years.
I never dreamed I'd be part of that statistic.
I never thought my child would wake up from the abuse. I thought they would just keep taking it.
Also, I wish Diane would cite her sources, because although these are probably very easy to Google, how many times have we seen the woman cite Dr. Phil? Good stretch toast.
Dear parents, I need to speak my truth. All my life, I need you to know how you're feeling my mental health. It's bad.
I don't think I've seen Diane's original video since I made the video on it. And it's just like all coming back to me. Just how bad and awful and terrifying it is.
My life ruined because of you.
I like how in the literal production of this, they're saying things that the child said to them. You ruined my life. You gaslit me. You hurt my mental health. And they present it as a production of a muddled script.
And not only that, you're giving me reasons to explain the estrangement, and I'm going to completely throw them all aside and say, nope, I don't think so. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound like me. I would never do that. There's a TikTok right now where this woman is at the grocery store with her mom, and her mom is like putting apples in a bag, right, to purchase. And the girl is sneakily taking an apple out of the bag and handing it to her mom and going, hey, how about this one? And her mom goes, oh no, this one sucks. And the third time she does it, her mom goes, you don't know how to pick apples, stop. But she's grabbing the apples that her mom had already picked. And then the next day, she shows her the TikTok of her doing that. And her mom goes, oh, that's not me. That's not me. That's not me. And I hope they have a good relationship because that's actually kind of funny. But like, oh my God, just the ability to deny and gaslight. Does it just happen when you become a parent? Is it just like one of those skills that when you have a baby, you're like, oh, dude, I'm going to be such a good gaslighter now. Just, you're crazy. Oh, I hate talking to you when you're like this. That never happened. If I was a parent for my child's birthday, I would tell them I was going to take them to meet their real parents. And every year on the day of, I would say, hey, sorry, I just called them and they don't want to meet you. I would ruin that thing, all right? I'm not meant to have children. That's as close as I'm getting.
These words mean nothing. Listen to all these horrible things. Blah, 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 blah. But like, these are all like very valid things. Like, you were gaslighting your kid. You hurt their mental health. You made them X, Y, and Z. Like, that shouldn't be presented to you as, oh, these troubling words surrounding me.
I know my actions may have led you to feel this way, but you should really think about how your words hurt me. Type beat from Diane.
90% of the letter was about politics and how we couldn't be in her life if we supported that guy. This kind of angry outburst from her was so out of character, we were shocked. We just didn't know what to do. I mean, I thought I was a good mom. Not perfect, but pretty good.
Honestly, I was in denial at this point because
Diane is like the most unrelatable estranged mom ever. Like, sure, she has the basics down, right? Like, bad parent, narcissistic, blames child. But then she like turns around and she's like, I'm gonna make a movie about this. It's fully produced. All the equipment looks really good. I'm like 90% sure that before this video premiered, she invited all of her friends at the time over, sat them down for an actual like full-on movie premiere. And then she had like an empty seat, right? Where she was like, and that's where my daughter would be if she still talked to me.
I thought this was more a thing between her and my husband Ted because I'm not that political.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to make too many comments on the video itself because I already did that, right? Like, I have my own video on this video. I'm here to like very alone hang out with Boze. But to marry someone who is so political is to be political. Like, you probably married them in a time where their politics probably weren't so divisive. Like, Kelly Clarkson calls herself a Republican, right? But she voted for Obama, she voted for Biden, she voted for Kamala. And so it's entirely different than someone who's like, well, I'm just going to keep voting against the interests of people who are not white, straight, male. I do really believe in being who you are married to. It's not like you're surprised, right? It's not like he's secretly cheating on you or secretly a Republican. These are ideas that he has and you back up. So yes, you are as political as he is, even if you want to say you're not. And later on, we learn that she is, right? She has that whole video about how like Black medical students are just DEI hires and how the university really only wants you if you're trans now. It's so stupid.
Because I'm not that political at all. So I thought we could still have a relationship.
So one day I responded positively to one of her Facebook posts, like normal, thinking that the letter was just some one-off thing that would blow.
Oh, yeah. That right there. That's it. That is the egotistical, self-victimizing parent. Oh, it's all right there. They think, oh, she was just having an episode. Oh, she'll get over it. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He just needs a little time. Let me just inch my way back in and see if they forgot how abusive I am.
That is exactly what they do, right? They just like wait. They're like, you have to come back eventually. Where else are you going to go?
Got a toe back in the door. Like, that's literally what that was. Oh my God, these people love to minimize your feelings.
That the letter was just some one-off thing that would blow over. But she unfriended me and followed up with a text that said something like, you don't get to stay in my life. I'm keeping this number for family emergencies only. Don't contact me.
Yep.
Over or under, how fast will Diane contact her? We've already seen the video, at least I have. it's pretty fast and pretty often.
Ted's sister got involved to see if she could help, but Haley immediately unfriended her, which was surprising because the two of them were politically aligned. Friends offered to step in.
Yeah, because you're a and she didn't want to be friends with you. Like, that's why. Here's the thing. Sometimes your kid just does need a break. Like, whether it's your kid or whether it's you, sometimes you just need a break, you know? A couple months or a couple years away from that parent so you can get out of the toxic cycle and decide what you're going to allow in your life and what you're not. It doesn't, sometimes the hard no contact is so that you can see things more clearly and create better structure, better boundaries, and a healthier relationship. And so somebody like violating that time that you're asking for is just also like, you're gonna buy yourself more time in the slammer, bro.
Leaving your entire family is so hard, and then setting that boundary with your mom of like, hey, don't contact me at least for a while, and then she immediately does. Like, you're not the crazy one here. You're the one setting boundaries, not having them violated. And I get a lot of comments when I make these videos from children, whether they're 18 or 80, telling me that they feel very validated now about not having spoken to their parents in so long or having left them when they were 20. And I hope to God that if Haley has seen any of this from anyone, that she feels validated in leaving Diane, because Diane has just done nothing but show us how bad of a person, how bad of a mom, how bad of a human being she is. Not a single positive thing has come out of Diane's mouth that wasn't just poisoned. There's not a single thing that she has said in a kind and nice way that didn't immediately fall to, by the way, I have a course in my group chat if you want to come by that.
Say something on our behalf, but after what happened to Ted's sister, we just said no. A couple weeks later, she did not wish me happy birthday for the very first time.
Damn, dude. She asked you to not contact her, and because you kept contacting her, she didn't say happy birthday to you. That's wild.
This wound was so fresh, I couldn't even say her name when I talked about it.
I don't like that her AirPod is sticking straight out. Yo, Ingrid Harrington, thank you for the follow. I forgot I had chat still up. I streamed twice this month. I don't like that her AirPod is sticking straight out. Right? Or am I stupid? Yeah. Like, how does that even happen? That is so uncomfortable. Yo, Ingrid, thank you for the prime. That's so sweet of you. Thank you, thank you. I'm just going to leave that in the video if they see this. Hi. Now that I've already passed through this video once, it's so much easier to go back and be like, oh, I also don't like this thing.
I've even had some people really close to me decide to move on from.
That's not a sign. If other people also move on from you, that's not a sign. My sister does not have kids yet. My sister and I are essentially the same age. She's 26. I'm 27. Neither one of us have kids. I don't want kids. I don't think she does either, but if she does, it'll happen way later. If I was in this situation with my sister and her adult child, I would choose her adult child every time, regardless of the relationship I have with my sister. You do not know what happens in people's homes. And unless that child is giving you real reasons to doubt them, you shouldn't. Sometimes you will unfortunately see things like on intervention, where a parent is really trying so hard to help their kid who's addicted to drugs and finding any way to get them and bring them into the house with their other people. And then they have to kick him out. There are times when that happens, and that sucks for everyone. But this isn't one of those times. This is a time when someone who's very obviously toxic, and if you didn't get that from their relationship, you got it from these videos. And you're not really being forced to choose, but I would anyway. I would choose the daughter in this situation every time. Every single time, I would choose the daughter, regardless of my own experience with this, regardless of also just being that child, right? I would still choose the child who is making the terrible and hard decision of, I no longer have a family. And you can take it in multiple directions. There have been so many times, so many stories where a family member assaults another one, a younger child. And I'm not going to say what kind of assault, but we can guess. But that family member is still invited around. And the child is just told to get over it as they get older. Or is just told to deal with it. Or like, no, don't go in that room then. No, if they're outside, you're inside. If they're inside, you're outside. When it should be so easy to disown that family member. I couldn't do it. I tried so hard. I went for it.
Okay. It's in the script. You watch this back and this wasn't a red flag to you?
And that's the hardest of all.
In November, I texted her that we were going to Montana to see her sister for Thanksgiving.
I can't take Diane seriously anymore. I can't. I never will. Like, all the things she said, all the things she's done, she's lost every shred of credibility she's ever had.
Thanksgiving and that she was warmly invited, but if we didn't hear back, we'd assume she wasn't interested. Silence. In December, I texted Merry Christmas and told her that we loved her. Silence. So that winter, I emailed her a few times, mostly personal development stuff that
Dude. So your kid cut you off because they thought that you were toxic, and your solution was to send them personal development stuff because you think they need help. I'll jump right now. I will down the stairs. That's all. Well, two stairs, okay?
I'll do 3. The overarching theme of Diane's work has been, it can't be me. Could not possibly have been me. I cannot be the problem. And it starts here with, you cut me off. You said it's because I'm toxic, because I'm manipulative, because I'm emotionally abusive, and because of my politics. So here's a self-help video. Here's a video to make you better so that you can come back to us.
I'm fine. This is like if you were to cut your parents off, like, and then they started sending you Bible verses about how you'll get through it. Oh my God, I would lose my mind.
stuff that I thought she'd be interested in.
More silence.
Around this time, I started
Oh my God, she sent her self-love
to
affirmations.
be interested in.
Van life vlog. And I wonder if that's where Diane was like, hey, I'm going to start doing this, by the way. You should watch my videos.
More silence.
Around this time, I started watching videos on estrangement to see if I could figure out what was going on.
You're
Cool. So now having gone through all this, I made a circle all the way back, right? Like the first time, I didn't get this. I didn't know who this was. I didn't know the book. I just knew the 97 tabs she had open. But now I understand it a little better. Dr. Joshua Coleman, Rules of Estrangement, where Dr. Joshua Coleman goes, you need to accept that maybe it is a little bit of your fault. But it's mostly theirs. It's still theirs. They're bad people, okay? I know this because my daughter came back and she fell for it. She fell for it. She's like, yeah, you're right. You know, maybe it's a little my fault, but it's mostly theirs. It took her months to even get there. I probably wouldn't listen to most people that Dr. Phil has a positive opinion on.
Intermittently, because I think I was still in denial.
Close some
thinking she would
tabs.
just come back in time. And it seemed appropriate to reach out occasionally to let her know I loved her because that's what moms are supposed to do, right?
It's not appropriate. It's boundary violating. When the child puts down a boundary and says, do not contact me, and you continue to contact them out of love, it's pushing boundaries under the guise of love. That's not appropriate. Leave them alone.
That is exactly what I was going to say. There's an order of operations. There's a PEMDAS to the way that things go. You should respect boundaries before you cross them. And so if the boundary is set, hey, don't contact me, you then should stop and not move down 4 steps and go, I'm going to tell her I love her all the time, even though she said don't contact me. I'm going to force her to change her number so that other people can't contact her if I can't either.
I mean, I try to maintain contact.
Oh my God, she's such a victim.
She shut that down.
Yeah, she said don't contact me. So why are you trying to maintain contact?
The longer this went on, the more real it began to feel.
That also, quote, the longer this went on, the longer she didn't get over it, the longer that she made all this up in her head, the longer that she was being silly. Yeah, if you want somebody like this to take you seriously, they need to go sit in a corner, and then you don't stare at them while they're sitting in the corner. You ignore them and walk away and say, now go entertain yourself. But unfortunately, this is what this mother chose to do after she went to go entertain herself. I think that this is also another form of abuse, because part of the abuse is victimizing yourself to the child so that it's like you're not the problem, they are. And now she's doing this on a public scale. I said this in the Fiona Harvey video. Going public with that stuff was another form of abuse, punishment for cutting me off. You will feel punishment for hurting me because I'm so sweet and innocent. That's what this is, man. Sneaky little lady.
Yeah, Boze is very smart, and so she says a lot of what I want to say and also more. That's all that is. That's all that is. It's all that is. It's the longer this went on, you're not taking it seriously. Like, they're setting a boundary, but it's not a real boundary. I don't have to take that seriously. It's a phase. It's a phase. She'll come back. So I'm allowed to cross a boundary that's not real. And the longer it goes on, I guess I'll forget about her until she comes back, I guess. It'll be easier for me. Except I'm not going to do that. I'm going to victimize myself. And if I can't make her feel bad directly, I'm going to make people around her feel bad for me and feel resentment towards her.
And there was just this cauldron of emotions, horrible emotions.
What's with that smoke?
Man, sneaky little lady.
And there was just this cauldron.
What do you... That's not real, right? No, I don't think that's real. There's nothing in the oven. I think those just pans. Why would you add the smoke there? That doesn't... Okay.
Of emotions, horrible emotions, shock and shame, anger, denial.
Wait, oh, sorry. Mint said that they're dealing with this too, and your empathetic comments have helped me think a bit more about it. Okay, if you're in this situation, I need you to play this snippet, I don't know what I'm gonna say, in your head, okay? Get out! Get out! This is a toxic relationship! You're being abused! Get out!
Shock and shame, anger, denial, sadness, depression, betrayal. It was so hard to...
For a really long time, I just thought that was something people did in movies and TV shows with their throw pillows. Just, yeah.
I joined some parental estrangement groups on Facebook to see how other parents were coping, and while it was nice to know that I was...
Her joining parental estrangement groups is her finding, like, the common thread is that they're all self-victimizing because people stop having relationships with their kid for multitudes of reasons. The only reason is not just like narcissistic abuse or something like that, or you know, a toxic parents or anything. That's not the only reason why. So you guys all getting together on that one thing, family dynamics are incredibly complicated. So all you guys are just like, all they're doing are just stroking their little victim weenies. Like that's all they're fucking doing. Like, oh, and I bet you, oh, I bet you, baby,
It's not in the forums. The juice isn't in the forums. The tea isn't in the forums. The stuff I want to read, it's not in the forums. It's in the little group chats, right? Because who fucking wakes up and needs to be the biggest victim today? Who wakes up and needs to be worshipped today by the other estranged parents? But we can't do that because we're all victims and we're all the biggest victim.
like they get into stroking what? Their victimhood. Okay, they get into little fights.
They're victim weenies that have a victimhood.
All the time. I know it because they need to be the most important. That's what the relationship is with the toxic parent. They're fully in control. They're the most important. They're the all-seeing, all-knowing, everything. So when you put that in a group with other people that operate the same way, they're gonna get in fights. Estranged parents, leak the DMs to me. Whoever you hate, leak them to me. Send it to my public email.
Again, she's going to keep making the points that I want to make as well. Yeah, these estranged parent group chats, these groups of estranged parents who have forced themselves into your exact same circumstance are going to sit with a lot of your feelings. The ones who don't, the ones who join those groups go, oh, everyone here hates their kids. Leave. They get out of there. This is not a place for me. So the people who are left over, the people who think just like you. So then that validates your dumb feelings. That validates your stupid thoughts, whack emotions. Oh, I'm not the only one who is going to sit here and like, just wait this out. Wait for my dumb kid to get over it. There are support groups that exist for parents who have real problems. Not problems that they've created themselves and then force themselves to be the victims of. And they do just play this weird game of King of the Hill. Guys, it's my day today. Today, I want to be the center of attention. I want to be the person you all listen to. When I say, my daughter left me, you go, oh, mine too, but yours is worse. Yours is worse.
Other parents were coping, and while it was nice to know that I wasn't alone, I could not spend too much time there because it was all the same misery that I felt. So horribly sad and depressing. There were just broken hearts everywhere. I could not face all that pain.
Sadly, at one point, I had to text her
Oh my God, dude. Someone said, someone go undercover.
At one point, I had to text her to let her know Grandpa died, Ted's dad. She'd had a good relationship with him.
I was very matter of fact about it. He died. There's a memorial. Here's the Zoom link.
She's going to make this about herself in that you're relaying information. Okay, I'll give you that one. Yeah, text her, let her know her grandparent had died. But she's going to make it about herself in that she's going to expect a response. And when she gives her the Zoom link, she's going to expect her to show up. And not only show up, but to talk to them. It is not about you. They are allowed to mourn their grandparent without going through you. Thank you for the information. Let it go after that.
This was still during COVID. She did attend, to her credit. We were glad to see her there, although we
To her credit, like you're keeping score of what she's willing to do for you after she's asked you to leave her life.
didn't see her there. She didn't have her camera on and she didn't say anything. She was there.
Yeah, she's there to mourn, dude. She's not there to like show up for you.
I sent her a text wishing her happy birthday and telling her I loved her.
Holidays are an opportunity for these pieces of shit to
Stop ruining your estranged children's holidays. I don't want to wake up to a text from my parents on Christmas when I'm trying to celebrate it with the people that I love and love me.
slide back in. Birthdays, Thanksgiving. I was just thinking about that because, well, never mind. It's an opportunity, right? I mean, they're also opportunistic.
I was so sad on her birthday. This is a very special day for me too. It's the day I first became a mother.
I love how it's her birthday. It's her daughter's birthday. But this is the day that I became a mother.
I am your mother!
Who says that? I've never heard anybody say that before about their child's birthday.
Like, sure, it is the day that you became a mother.
I guess that's my way of saying I still love you, I still think about you, but I don't want to intrude in your space.
Like you've done a million times leading up to this?
And instead of buying her a present for her birthday every year, this is probably gonna sound stupid, but I buy myself a present for Haley's birthday every year.
Why would you admit that? Why would you admit that, dude? Why would you admit that? Also, I wonder if she's buying herself something that she just wants for herself or she's buying herself something that reminds her of her daughter. Because I kind of feel like I would get that, right? Like, it's her birthday. I'm going to buy myself something that reminds me of her. But she's not doing that. She's going out and she's like, I'm going to buy a new Coach bag. I'm going to buy new blue light glasses. You know what I could really use for my YouTube channel right now? Why don't I just buy myself a new camera? Guarantee you that's what's happening.
I'll let you process that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a consolation prize.
Mother's Day 2021 also passed in silence for the very first time. By now,
Dude, Mother's Day 2021. She just talked about Christmas. That means it's been 4.5 years minimum. It has been 4.5 years. And Diane is still going on about this.
I had moved from shock and shame into feeling this kind of low-level anger, definitely resentment.
But it's not about resentment, right, Diane? It's not about resentment at all. Like you've said multiple times now.
And yeah, betrayal.
Music's changing.
My husband may have texted her once or twice that summer, but I did not.
Okay.
On the
She's
1-year
fine.
anniversary of her angry letter, I emailed my sad letter response.
Her angry letter on the 1-year anniversary of her angry letter.
1 year after, hey mom, we can't have a relationship anymore. Politics, emotional abuse, whatever. A year later, after calming down and finally giving in to her boundaries, I've decided that she's angry. She's mad. She's just stupid and angry and dumb and doesn't understand what it's like to be a parent. You're mad, bro. You're just mad.
Not her feelings, not a conversation to be had. Her angry little letter. So I sent my sad letter. God, what a piece of shit. I also feel like these people can be extremely manipulative with love. I love you. I care about you. And they say a lot of sweet things while abusing you in the most subtle ways possible. It's disgusting.
I had a little bit of that conversation yesterday. Words are great, but they should be secondary. People should show you that they love you and then also tell you that they do. Not treat you terribly, make you insecure and feel bad, and then say, oh, but I love you, so it's okay.
I'm being abused by this video still having another 11 minutes.
Boze, I'm here with you, big dog. We got another 17 on this side.
I started off with a story about the time I saved her from choking to death on a
Oh, I forgot how much that one hits me. I saved your life, dude. I brought you into this world. I made sure you didn't leave it too early. You owe me so much, including speaking to me when all I've done is be abusive to you.
she was a baby.
That's your job as
which
a
was
mom,
probably
stupid.
the worst way to start, but I didn't know.
It must suck to become a parent and to then have to be a parent. It sucks when the expectation of raising your children has to just be hidden in the legal work of becoming a parent, choosing to have a child.
Then I went into
That almost strikes me as being angry, like,
You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. I gave
Mhm.
you birth. I saved you from choking on that nugget, and otherwise you would be fucking dead. So why don't you pick up that little pen and write me a fucking letter, Haley?
Diane gives me the vibe of a woman who didn't cut her kid's grapes just so she could save her child later. I did that for you. And then she gets herself a best mom mug.
I don't know everything, but I did the best I could reasoning. Then I went on to calmly address some of the points in her letter. I apologized
A year
for
later?
not being the parent she needed, but I also expressed dismay at her level of intolerance, which I probably shouldn't have done, but
I guarantee you she said something like, so much for the tolerant left. So much for the party of wanting people to be included. Why aren't I included? If I'm going to hate everyone in there, I should still be included.
I wanted to be honest and
I can't believe that you can't handle this level of toxicity. I didn't raise you this way. You're supposed to be my punching bag. You're supposed to keep taking it. I need you, so I need you to feel bad about this so you can come back and I can just keep hitting you. I can just keep hitting you.
All right, Boze, we have to work on your form. Like, that is a wild way to punch.
basically just wished her the best of everything in life.
My birthday passed in silence once again,
Okay. Surprise.
which is sad because she was the one who always remembered everybody's birthdays in the family, even my dad's, who she hardly knew.
Damn, dude. The person who remembers everybody's birthday wants someone in their family to remember theirs as well and not buy themselves a present selfishly on that day.
Around this time, we discovered her TikTok, which I have to confess was strange and difficult to digest because she does a lot of exotic cosplay.
We have to talk about the word exotic because they're not. They're regular cosplays. And if you don't know what a cosplay is, it is dressing up as a character. Normally, anime characters, you could dress up as Goku from Dragon Ball Z, that's cosplay. You could dress up as Frieza, I only know Dragon Ball. You could dress up as a Pokemon, that's cosplay. Haley's are not provocative, they're not exotic, they're just cosplays. And if the person she is and the things she likes to do make you uncomfortable, probably a good reason why she didn't choose to share them with you. Around this time, we discovered her TikTok. All right, Christopher Columbus, get over it. Turn back around. That's not for you.
And I couldn't help myself. I binge watched a bunch of them, then combed through all the comments looking for any mention of us.
Why would there be any mention of you, dude? That's so weird.
I was pretty
You tell him.
Commentary. The woman was too stunned to speak.
annoyed at being relegated to the status of random internet viewer, but I was glad that I could see her.
The part that sucks is that if Haley knew this was happening, she would not be able to block Diane's TikTok account because Diane would be like, oh, she saw me, she noticed, she knows. Wow, she's still thinking about me.
In November, my husband and I caught the super nasty Delta version of COVID. It was truly awful for me, but way worse for Ted.
Concussion
We're talking
playlist.
hospitals, paramedics.
Concussion playlist
It got so
vibes.
bad, I texted her.
Yes, concussion playlist vibes. I think that's probably about Dawn. I am now remembering that Diane is about to call Ted Daddy-O, and I just have to mentally prepare for it.
I told her that she should call Daddy-O because he had
You should call me because she can't be vulnerable in that way. That's another thing. These people cannot be vulnerable at all. So she doesn't say, I'm very sick. Please call me. She says, you should call your dad.
COVID and he wasn't doing well at all. He was really struggling and it was scary.
Okay.
She did call, which was a miracle. But apparently she was almost like an automaton.
She didn't care.
Dead inside. I don't know, kind of like a robot. I mean, Ted really
Immune to your tactics at this point. God, they get so fucking mad.
You think Diane will ever discover gray rocking?
the call. Don't get me wrong. really appreciated that call. It meant so much to him.
But it's still not enough.
But it was also like she wasn't all there. It was very strange.
Ted texted her after he recovered to thank her for calling, but she didn't respond.
Oh my God, y'all did bad. Y'all did really bad.
My dad died on Christmas Day, but I didn't bother to tell Haley because she didn't really know him. He was a sweet guy, but kind of an odd duck living in his own world. But he was my dad, and it was really hard to watch him die.
She rehearsed that part. You can
And
hear
the
her
one
voice.
gift that you get out of that typically is that it makes you realize
She also definitely recorded it 40 different times.
how short and precious life is. And I'm older. I'm in my 50s. I mean, mortality is right there. When you're a kid, you look at your parents like this big, all-knowing people, and then when you get to be an adult, you realize, oh my God, they're flawed. And there's a breakaway period where you break away and you're like, get away from me, and then...
Dude, also her saying, you know, you get to a point where you realize that your parents are flawed.
Diane speaks like this is just one big misunderstanding. Like her child is in a phase of like, oh, my parents should have done better. She will then one day become a parent, realize that they tried, and then come back to them. Instead of, hey, I realize that being a parent is hard, but there are things that you are that are optional. Who you vote for, the way that you treat people who are not the same color skin as you, the way that you talk about people who are transgender, all of these things, Diane, have nothing to do with being a parent. They're about being a good person, and you fail each and every time. I'm sure your daughter can sit back and say, I can mention the times that my parents may have tried, even did a good job, but that doesn't excuse them from being bad people. But instead, Diane just says, well, it's a phase. You know, like there's a point in your life where you break away from your parents. You go, get away from me. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm old enough to raise myself. I'm smart enough to do so. But then you realize that they were just trying, that you were wrong, and you come back to them. Sure, that's within this like normal parental relationship. But when you add on just being a casually bad person to that, no, I don't want to go back to my racist mom, dude. That's weird. I don't care if you were born in a different time. Grow up.
It's like she's so close to admitting that she's doing something wrong, but instead she chooses verbiage like they're flawed. We're flawed, as though it's like it's a self-victimizing thing again. It's so subtle. It's like on the brink of accountability, but you mix it up with a little bit of denial, and then she just switches to I'm flawed. I'm sorry. Like, it's so...
They'll have some videos to watch about...
Sorry, I'm not perfect enough for you? Oh, yeah, that's another one.
What did she think about? And I don't know, maybe nobody cares.
So I was grieving for Dad that winter, but also for Haley, who didn't seem to care.
Is this in a church? Do you not burn when you go in there, woman?
I texted her happy birthday and told her
Dude, it's been years at this point. We've gotten 2-3 years of birthday texts after she said stop, stop, stop.
that I loved her, which was my only attempt at contact that entire year. Silence.
Yep.
So of course I had to peek at TikTok.
You've been
I
watching
read
this
all her
whole
birthday
time.
comments, and she seemed to have a lot of fans sending her presents.
Also, now that I know Diane a lot better than I did when I first made videos about her, she's jealous of the attention her daughter has gotten on social media. All of this is a direct response to her daughter having a social media following. It is, if she can do it, I can do it, and I can do it better. If her TikTok isn't going to get comments about me, then I'm going to make videos that get comments about me. Also, so weird to go into your daughter's TikTok comments when she has not talked about you at all, just to be like, why aren't you talking about me? People need to talk about me more. They need to know. They need to know that I was a good mom.
We have been replaced by fans. I ordered Joshua Coleman's book, Rules of Estrangement, scanned a couple of chapters out of order, including the amends letter section,
Which I could not stomach because it required far too much contrition. Like, it's all the parents' fault.
I made a couple of videos on Dr. Joshua Coleman, and I don't remember which one it is exactly, but when he says, contrition, give in, say it's all your fault, he immediately follows it with, in order to get them back, even if you don't believe it. Joshua Coleman's entire strategy is lie to your kids in order to trick them back into your life. And she couldn't even do that. She couldn't even pretend that her giving into it was a lie. It's true, right? She was a bad person and probably a bad parent. Is she willing to have any sort of humility in order to get her kid back? No, absolutely not. It will never be her fault. Even if she were to lie about it, she wouldn't be able to say it.
She couldn't stomach the accountability. Then you don't want a relationship with your child that much. If your pride is so big that you can't get down on one knee for the relationship that you claim to cherish the most, then you have to f off. And don't get me wrong, it's not easy for the child either, but you have to go. Because you know what, at the end of the day, that means that you're choosing your pride and your ego over your child. And my God, can some of these people make great parents if they were to bend a knee?
Don't let it happen again. Bend the knee.
And like be honest with themselves. It is their ego and their pride that is just completely getting in the way.
I think alongside with that, like, yes, their ego does not allow them to say that they were wrong, but they so badly want to be that person that's like, well, I'm straightforward, I tell the truth, and the truth is I'm not wrong, so I'm not going to lie about that. So even the small percentage of these parents who are able to go, oh, sorry, my bad, a lot of them, the Diane type of parents, do not believe it. They're willing to lie in order to get you back, just like Dr. Joshua Coleman told them to. And that is just not going to work out, because eventually it's just going to circle all the way back.
We had no contact. I threw myself into a new YouTube channel and took a month-long camping trip around the US. After my dad dying and losing Haley, I just needed to get out and start living my own dreams now.
Yes, she did need to do that. And if she did, honestly, this lady may never change. You know, sometimes they say like people are who they are after 25 or 30 or something like that. There's a chance that she may never change. But I think that if she hadn't joined those estranged parent groups and saw the opportunity to be a victim and get some kind of source from somewhere else, like maybe going the f outside and doing a month-long camping trip and being with herself and losing her parent might have done something. Because sometimes we have to hit rock bottom to become a new version of ourselves, right? That's normal. That's fine. That's fantastic. But instead, she went off into la la land.
Diane also just needs way too much attention. Like, oh, I went on a month-long camping trip in order to grieve my father. I recorded all of it, by the way, and it's on my other YouTube channel. If she could just be the person to shut up for a minute, go do the things you enjoy. Go outside, hike, meet new people, record it if you want, but stop posting it online. Specifically, Diane is not only asking for attention, but she's asking to be affirmed. She wants to put this out there so that people can be like, wow, you're so cool. Also, by the way, you're right. Her entire car camping, van life channel has nothing to do with this. You will not know the ideas that she has or the parent that she is from that channel. That channel is specifically to feed her ego. Oh, if you could do this at your age, then I could do it in 20 years when I'm your age too. Oh, it's so cool that you're going out and exploring and traveling. Oh, you know, you must have such a happy family at home. That channel is so weirdly curated and manicured so that people don't know who she actually is. And she could have done that. She could have kept that going. She could have not had the Estranged Parents channel and just had a separate channel to feed her ego. But she couldn't do it. She also wanted to be told she was right.
But instead, she went off into la la land.
Before it's too late. I brought the Coleman book with me on this adventure, but I didn't read it. I was still low-level bitter and resentful over being ghosted. On my birthday, which passed again in silence, I went for a hike.
It's been years. She is low level, bitter, and resentful years afterwards. And once again, thinking about how her daughter should reach out to her on her birthday, regardless of the boundaries that she has asked for.
And 2 years later, she's still not talking to me. Can't
Sorry,
make
that's so
her
funny.
love me. I can't make her want to talk to me. I
Her entire childhood was set up for you to make her love you.
can't make her call. I can't make her do anything. So I'm just trying to cope. I never in a million years imagined that I would have a daughter.
I also think that it's fucking crazy that her daughter went off and found some peace on the internet and made a TikTok and has, you know,
Diane, this is not your angle, big dog.
followers and fans and people sending her gifts. And then the daughter made a response video. Shut the fuck up. But
The daughter's response video is not very like direct. It's not like, here are the points my mom has made. It's more so like, yeah, that's my mom. Let's move on. And then she has a few other videos that are like, oh yeah, here's my experience as someone who no longer speaks to their family. But there's never a time in which Haley has said, let's talk about my mom Diane or my father Ted.
I think it's crazy that the daughter went off to TikTok, found some kind of embrace in social media, and her mom was like, well, I'm going to go online too. I'm going to have an online presence too. Like, are you competing with your daughter too? God, what a weirdo. Like, you really are one weird
who would just cut me out of her life.
Like, that's so gross, just period. To compete against your daughter for any reason. Chill, let her live her own life.
You really are one weird
who would just cut me out of her life. We did the best we could. We poured a lot of love and resources and time and energy.
Diane, if the way that you raised your daughters now is the best that you could have done, is genuinely the best you could have done, then you probably just shouldn't have had kids. If you're not willing or able to put them in a position in life to show them that you love them. That has very little to do with money. That has very little to do with socioeconomic status. I'm not talking about like sending them to prep school or making sure they have new clothes every 3 months. I mean raising them with the ability to love and be loved. Raising them to know that they are loved by their parents. Raising them to know that no matter what, their parents are going to love them and support them. If you couldn't do that, then the best you could have done was not good enough. And that sucks.
And she rejected me.
Going through all of Diane's videos and seeing how she talks about her daughter in like a weird romantic relationship kind of way is so weird. I don't like it. Like, it's dog, that's your daughter, not your partner.
And it's hard not to hold a grudge.
Be a better person.
Admitting that I was angry and holding a grudge was really hard because that's not who I am.
Yeah, Diane, racist, evil, copyright striking everyone she can, Diane isn't hateful or resentful?
I binged on her TikTok again and found some references to us, including a video dedicated to what she'd learned going no contact with her parents.
She doesn't mention them at all. She just says, this is how I spend my time. I cosplay now. I maybe something about school, but I could be making that one up. It's been 9 months.
I sat down with Ted and we watched together.
You know, I think the thing that
She reacted to her daughter's like why I stopped talking to my parents video. That is so like abusive on another level. It's like, well, if you're not going to talk to me, then I'm going to push your boundaries online. I can't get to you on a personal level. I'll push your boundaries online and I'll do it here, like on a public space. And the other thing that's really unfortunate for the kid is, like I said, it's just a whole nother form of abuse. And it's like, what can she do other than, you know, responding to what? Like, what can she do?
I guess irks me, that whole love with strings attached thing. I don't get that.
Yeah.
That's how you raised her, dude. You raised her to feel like your love came with strings attached. You don't get it? Maybe you just don't listen. Maybe don't pay attention to her. Maybe you were not as good of a parent as you think you were.
Yeah, you love her as long as she does what you want. You love her conditionally. You pretend to love her unconditionally.
And when she sets boundaries with you, you're hateful and resentful. You're angry. Somehow it's all her fault. Maybe that's conditional love.
While there are conditions.
Oh
my God.
I
You
don't
have
want
it,
to be people like
Nicole?
that.
Love is...
They love you for who you are, not for who they want you to be.
She was tactful, but the comments supporting her decision to dump us were really hard to take. We also learned that she's been diagnosed with ADHD and high-functioning autism, which was news to us.
you know, maybe that explains some of her behavior. We never knew. If we had seen it.
Wow.
If she doesn't want to be in our lives, I guess it's because she's autistic. Yeah, that makes sense to me. What should we do with autistic children, Diane? What do you think we should do with people who are diagnosed with autism?
We would have taken her to doctor.
ADHD ADHD and autism don't make you stop talking to your parents, you dummy.
We didn't see it. She seemed like a normal kid to us.
She doesn't even care how you feel. She doesn't care if we're struggling with this issue.
The issue that you created, bro. She does not have to be abused by you and then turn around and take care of you. Shut up.
She doesn't care if we're alive or dead. I mean, she doesn't really know.
I'm convinced that this lady is like saying the most outlandish.
At the end of the next Boze video we do, remind me to buy some of her merch just as a thank you for letting me just adopt your videos.
Because if she gets more hate, it'll make her feel more secure in her victimhood. Like, she brings about a situation where people are gonna call her a dumb, and then she gets to say, "Oh, whoa, it's me. All of this because my daughter stopped talking to me."
I don't hear any.
This is so goofy.
I'm really sorry. There's nothing there. There's just I had a mental problem. Sorry. She didn't care. She doesn't care still.
You want her to care about you first, and that's weird. If you wanted that so badly, sure, but you should have given her a reason to care about you, not pushed her away so badly and gone, well, hurry up and come back.
I'm sorry, I'm just very upset.
I really thought we did our best.
Throughout this whole ordeal, I've continued my daily meditation practice, and afterwards I usually spend a few minutes reading from some inspirational book. At one point, I was reading about living a compassionate life, and when I got to the chapter on forgiveness, wow.
Lately, I've been thinking about forgiveness.
And instead of finding a mature and healthy way to ask her daughter to forgive her for the life she couldn't give her, or refuse to do so, she's going to forgive herself on behalf of her estranged daughter. Is there anything more narcissistic than being able to forgive yourself for the bad things that you've done to other people? That reminds me of every person who turns to Jesus and goes, "Oh, well, Christ forgives me, so it doesn't matter if you do. He does. So I'm saved. Doesn't matter that I murdered your entire family. I turned to God after that. So I'm going to heaven. I'll say hi to your family when I'm there."
Forgiving her, but forgiveness for myself.
Oh, forgiving her for nothing, by the way, but forgiving yourself for the atrocities you've done. Is it genetic? Do you think she's actually a descendant of Christopher Columbus?
Too. And Ted. But mostly myself.
Ew.
Because
Insane.
you can't help but blame yourself when something like this happens with a child that you raised and poured all your love and energy and everything.
And you're a bad parent.
No, we just...
I think more than anything, she's a bad person, and then happens to be a parent, right? So a bad person as a parent ends up being a bad parent.
She genuinely does not realize that she was a bad parent.
Best of everything we could.
Letting go of our anger is a way of being compassionate towards ourselves. Anger keeps us stuck in the past.
Like, dude, why is it that alcoholic or drug addicted parents or deadbeat dads will be there quicker to say I'm sorry I wasn't there? They'll just say it. But this self-victimizing parent is just you're not getting it. You're not.
So that's the difference between physical and emotional abuse, right? Because when Diane does move on to talking about parents who were at fault, she goes, when people were actually abused, parents who actually hit you, parents who did actually physically abuse you, sure. But that's not me. And so when there's that tangible oh, I did drink too much. Oh, I did physically hurt you. It's easier to be my bad, G, than someone like Diane who's no. It's your fault, dude. If you took the things I said that way, that's your fault. If you wanted someone to be at your school events, you should have had different parents. If you wanted someone to raise you with unconditional love, you should have had dogs as parents. If you wanted someone to love you, you have to learn to love me first, and I will reciprocate.
Granted, sometimes the self-victimizer is also wrapped up in the other ones, but I feel like sometimes the alcoholic parent will come around and be dude, I f***ed up. And you're oh, thank God, you know?
Towards ourselves. Anger keeps us stuck in the past, obsessing over what has already happened. Forgiveness does not ignore the harm or justify a person's misdeeds, but it releases the pain and anger.
Forgiveness for yourself? Are you admitting that you messed up, but you're it's fine, I'm okay with it?
Connected to them.
Dude.
I debated texting happy birthday,
Shut
but
up.
did not.
Today is my daughter's.
Also, every day that she texts her and says happy birthday, it's an excuse for her to feel bad for herself because she probably knows she's not getting that text back. But also, it's a moment of opportunity. Her birthday is such a great time for this lady because it's an opportunity to text or to feel bad about herself and be, oh, whoa, it's me. It's a great day. It's a great day for her.
Birthday. She is 29 and she hasn't spoken with us for 2.5 years now. And
If the way she filmed this video is honest, and I don't know that it is, right? I don't know if like that's actually her texting her daughter or if she like put in someone else's number and her details so that she could make the video, right? But if what she's saying in this video is all completely honest in the way that it's recorded, you spent years putting this video together, literal years. And we're like, yeah, that's dope. I did such a good job, dude. If she doesn't want to come back after this, the entire internet is going to know to turn on her.
that has been very difficult to deal with.
Okay.
But I'm learning to accept it because that's all I can do. The last text I sent was happy birthday last year.
What a loser.
So she is lost to us now at this point. And this was not something we ever envisioned for our lives.
If in finding yourself, your happiness, your loves, your passions, the people in your past decide that you are lost to them, that's on them. Oh, you've changed. Oh, you're not the person that we raised or loved. How shallow of a person you must be to expect people to only ever be what you want them to be, when all they've ever wanted from you is to be loved.
Oh God, I'm gonna cry.
If you were a good parent, even if you got estranged for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, if you were as good of a parent as you claim to be in this video, you would wait. You would sit there and you would wait until your child decided to come back. You wouldn't decide, well, I'm gonna cut her off too, when you decided that you wanted to take your power back as you finally moved through some emotions. You wouldn't do that. You would wait. You would sit there and wait with open arms.
I thought I was gonna make it through this without crying, but
you can't.
I can't. It's like she's dead, but she's not.
And we have to remember, immediately after this, Ted holds a funeral for her. It's like she's dead, but she's not. This ambiguous loss that I'm grieving is just, what is it? No one else has ever been through this before. And then Ted comes in and goes, why don't we just have a funeral for her? If she's going to be dead, she might as well be dead. She's dead to us anyway. That is sociopathic.
Grateful that she's not.
We're grateful that she's not, but we're going to hold a funeral for her anyway. It is nuts.
That she's on social media somewhere. If I feel the need to go see her, I can see her. So, happy birthday, Haley. I wish you all the best.
Happy birthday, Haley. This is her abusive mother's gift to her. A humiliating video online because Haley decided to set boundaries 2 years ago. You sick woman. You're a sick person. You are a sick person. Abuse is not just like a physical attack or verbal abuse outright or anything. Like, this is also abuse. And she's a bad parent.
And what you're doing, I admire that you're following your dreams and you're doing what you believe is right. And I hope you are loved and surrounded by people who truly love you, not for some persona that you may be online, but for who you truly are as a person.
That's also abusive. These people online don't know you. I know you. I know you. I know you better than you know yourself. Sickening. Who edited this?
And I know you're a kind soul with a really big heart.
I know you're a kind soul. This isn't like you to want to maintain this boundary that you've asked me for years and I've just been violating ever since.
Yeah, and this kind soul doesn't fucking like you.
And so I hope you find a place to express that love and find someone
someone's who appreciate that love and reflect it back.
Blocked.
Blocked. Diane, you old sack of doo-doo, dude. I hope no one ever talks to you ever again. Here's the thing about Diane. You could have just not done it. You spent the last 20 years telling people you were a social media marketer, genius guru. You made your money, you own your house. You could have just shut up and lived. Instead, you have to make these videos for whatever reason. I guess to try and make yourself feel better by making your daughter feel bad. Somehow, you're even worse of a parent now than you were when your daughters now, decided to not be in your life, dude. That sucks. You suck. And what sucks even more is I know that if you ever feel any shred of guilt for any of this, you will immediately forgive yourself. Like you have for every other gross, disgusting, childish thing you have done to other people. Forgive me, Daddy-O, for I have sinned. And it's just her praying at the feet of Ted. I forgive you for what we've done to our children. Rise, my child. En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo, del Espíritu Santo. Amén. Y si lo tengo que decir en español, porque no me quieres entender, todos de nosotros no somos personas. Somos ideas, DEI. If the person that I am existing is so offensive to you, then I can only imagine you were much, much worse to your daughter. I'm going to call it there because I've been going for over 2 hours and I don't know how long this video is going to be. Thank you to Boze. Again, her video will be linked down below and we're going to use 2 more of her videos at some point. One this week because she has a very recent Diane video. And then I also want to go through her Dawn video because I made a video on Dawn. And then Dawn responded to me on TikTok, so we might put those all together. That's it. I'm going to call it there. Toast left somewhere like halfway through this. So thank you for spending time with me. My favorite thing to do. You're my favorite people to do it with. Oh, little whip for the people who made it to the end. Tomorrow is going to be Diane's Your Assumptions of Wrong Parental Estrangement video as part of Diane Week. Thank you all for spending time with me. Hopefully, my children do not estrange from me, although my only child is now in another room, so I guess this is probably how it starts. Alright, go. Get out of here. Goodbye.